Welcome to the show. Today we're going to look at a past technology which was very instrumental at the time. Everybody had one. But then cell phones or mobile phones came along and we quickly forgot about them. Before we get started, please check us out on buymeacoffee.com/SamsonKing and support us there if you like the content. We really appreciate it. So, the forgotten war on beepers, also known as pagers in different parts of the world. 30 years before parents and lawmakers sought to save youth from smartphones via age limits and bans in schools, a similar conversation took place about a precursor to the cell phone, pagers. I think we all remember our Motorola pagers. Through the 1980s, pagers became increasingly popular with teens and also drug dealers. This fact would eventually drag the gadget into the existing moral panic about adolescent drug use of the era. The pager panic began with a 1988 Washington Post report on the gadget's prevalence in the drug trade, quoting DEA and law enforcement officials. The piece was syndicated throughout the U.S. under headlines like "Beepers Flourish in Drug Business," "Beepers Speed Drug Connections," and "Drug Beepers Paging Devices Popular with Cocaine Dealers." The spread of the story stoked concerns that beepers in the hands of youth weren't just a distraction, a common complaint from teachers, but also a direct line to drug dealers. One school district official told the New York Times, "How can we expect students to just say no to drugs when we allow them to wear the most dominant symbol of the drug trade on their belts?" In response, schools, towns, and states would pass rules against beepers. New Jersey prohibited beepers for under 18s entirely. Possession could result in a 6-month jail term, a law proposed by ex-policeman and Senator Ronald L. Rice. A city ordinance in Michigan mandated 3 months jail terms for children caught in possession of one within school grounds. Can you imagine? Chicago passed a ban that its public schools security chief said would also reduce prostitution. Other states proposed community service, fines, and 1-year driver license bans as punishment. Thousands of young people were victims of these heavy-handed prohibitions, some of which made headlines. Some schools regularly referred students found with pagers to police. One 16-year-old, Stephanie Redfern, faced a disorderly persons charge. A 13-year-old was handcuffed. Chicago was particularly aggressive in its enforcement. Over 30 children were arrested and suspended for beeper violations in one police sweep at a school. Many parents couldn't locate their kids for more than 6 hours. This was just the start. According to Police Lieutenant Randolph Barton, head of the Chicago Public School Patrol Unit at the time, by April 1994, there had been 700 beeper arrests in Chicago schools, with the prior school year seeing 1,000. Some still felt these numbers were too low. In 1996, a 5-year-old in New Jersey was suspended for taking a beeper on a school trip. A 5-year-old. Outrage ensued, catching the attention of Howard Stern, leading to calls for the laws to be amended or repealed. Even young adults didn't escape the beeper prohibition. 18-year-old Anthony Beecham feared a jail term after trying to sell a beeper to a student on school grounds. State prosecutors sought a criminal conviction for Beecham that would have barred him from his hopes of joining the military. The judge settled for probation and 10 hours of community service. Hampton University required students register beepers with campus police, even though there was no evidence of them increasing drug access. VP of Student Affairs at the time would admit as much. Big beeper fights back. The beeper backlash was a big problem for Motorola, who had 80% of the pager market at the time. The company had a hit on its hands that was introducing the brand to a whole new generation. So in 1994, it fought back, partly by rallying youth, a move reminiscent of TikTok's recent lobbying tactics. There's nothing new under the sun. We keep telling you on this channel when we talk about PR tactics, when we talk about measures that companies employ to fight public opinion and change brand perception. Here we go. Here's another example. Take notes. Motorola enlisted children of its employees to help design pro-beeper campaigns, emphasizing the importance of pagers as legitimate communication devices for the young. Who better to help plan for the battle than teens themselves, one report on the efforts would say. At a week-long event, one attendee came up with the slogan, "Pages for all ages." Again, we love slogans in PR. We love them. They're catchy. People remember them. The company ran television ads promoting pagers as a tool for child-parent communication, and in 1996 partnered with PepsiCo to offer 500,000 pagers to youths at a low price. It's earned media plus paid media. It works. It's very effective. The promotion angered lawmakers like State Senator Ronald Rice, who'd been a leading player in the war on beepers. I wonder if he has a cell phone now. It would be interesting. Around this time, moves to overturn bans emerged, by other lawmakers calling them outdated, partly fueled by the suspension of a 5-year-old alluded to earlier. New Jersey would amend the law in 1996, but not repeal it. 3 decades later, the New Jersey law was still on the books. The original sponsor of the bill, Senator Ronald Rice, sought to repeal it in 2017, saying, "Fast forward almost 3 decades and it's no longer an issue." There's little evidence it ever was an issue. In fact, the subsequent rise of cell phones in schools coincided with a massive reduction in youth drug taking. While causation has been suggested by some, it certainly serves as stronger evidence against the idea of mobile messaging increasing drug access. Senator Ronald Rice passed away in 2023. The New Jersey pager ban still in place. Months later, the Washington Post editorial board would call on schools to ban cell phones entirely, part of a new moral panic about kids and digital devices, many of whose parents were once prohibited from bringing pagers to school. I bet Senator Ronald Rice had a cell phone before he passed away in 2023. Nod to Ernie Smith of Tedium.co, the only other person to cover the beeper bans, a piece that helped highlight a few fun examples included in this space. Funny note to add at the end is that beepers and pagers are still widely used in the healthcare space. In fact, doctors rely on them, whether they're seeing a patient, walking the halls of a hospital, or in surgery. Doctors still use pagers, and it's a crucial part of healthcare. Something to note. So technologies have their advantages and disadvantages. I think banning something completely and throwing kids in jail for using technology sounds frivolous nowadays. Well, let us know what you think in the comments. Please like and subscribe. Hit us up on buymeacoffee.com/SamsonKing. Link will be up in the description. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.